Hurry now and wait for me.
Start.
Can't help myself.
Feel good?
Who I be.
We got some new equipment. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first official Scratch Track podcast.
Oh, it's official.
I guess it's
Okay.
official.
I thought that was
It'll
practice.
be one of the first. This one will actually go somewhere. I'm glad you know.
Oh,
I'm glad you look better than you did the last one. So
Sorry.
apparently I wasn't supposed to send that anywhere, but
yeah. And then you send it to freaking everybody.
everybody saw it. Everybody saw that your PJs. So hopefully everything is working. Hopefully everything's going well. We still have some equipment that we're looking into and everything like that. But my name is Josh Plummer. With me here is my lovely, lovely partner in crime, my water champ.
What?
It's your mom's house, man. Come
Okay.
on. Yeah, and we're gonna be talking some music today. We're gonna be talking some love. We're gonna be talking a bunch of stuff. So now that I have my hands free, not only can I double bird you, but I can really get into it and start talking with my hands, which I'm very excited about, and I can type with both. So a little bit about this. What we're going to do is we're going to try to pick an album every week and talk about it. This is one of our first vinyl purchases and both probably one of our collectively favorite albums, yes?
Yes.
Okay. That's good to know. I just found that out now, I guess. So what we're going to do is just kind of base the conversation around this, and then we're going to get going and find out some stuff about each other in the process, I guess. So we'll see.
Things we don't already know.
Maybe. We'll see. It might get a little risky in here. Okay, so the album we have this week is Bon Iver's For Emma Forever Ago. This is one of my favorites, and when I used to do the album of the week thing on Facebook that I did for a while. Instagram, yeah. This was one that I just never really sat down and like fully listened to, and then when I did, I was like, man, you can be rougher than that. Really, just don't snap.
Said.
Don't. Yeah, it is. Don't snap it. So, this came out in 2007.
I was in middle school.
2007. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
So if this came out in 2007, hold the phone here, Cotton. I thought that he won Best New Artist for this in like 2010. Didn't he?
Well, half the time when it comes out, they don't really recognize it for what it is till after.
That's true, but I'm trying to see. Yeah, 2008. Top 50. Maybe.
I mean, take
it
Lizzo,
was.
for example.
Yeah. Bitch. Yeah. So, do you remember the first time you listened to this?
The first time I listened to it or
Yeah.
we listened to it?
First time you did. First time you heard a track off of this. Do you remember it?
Honestly, I think the first time that I listened to it was Flume. Was the first track I heard off of it. You'll love this. It was like an EDM cover.
Oh, yeah.
But then I also found I don't even know what you would call this. It wasn't like a full band, but they were doing it in like a courtyard. I think I might have shown you this video where the people were doing an instrumental of this.
Of the album or the song?
Of the song.
Oh.
Of just
no,
the song. It
I
was
don't
like
think
out
I've
in the
seen
middle
that.
of somewhere.
See, there we
I don't
go.
have to look it up.
We're figuring it out one step at a time.
But no, they had like the trumpets and like the
Oh,
horns,
that's sick.
the
Okay.
snare drums, all of it.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I the first one I heard was "Skinny Love." That was the song on the radio. Mm-hmm. I believe now this could be me making shit up on the fly. I think that he won Best New Artist for this over J. Cole.
I remember you saying
I
that.
think it was between the two of them, which is why I was confused about the timeline when it said 2007. I always thought this was 2010, but that was the
When he
self-titled, I think, with Holocene on it and those Perth and those other songs that you definitely know the names of. So yeah, when I heard Skinny Love, and then when that came out, I was first really getting into like learning things on the guitar. Mm-hmm. and I was figuring out how he would tune his stuff, and he always used different tunings for his songs, and like he would do a lot of different shit. So I was always trying to figure out what he was doing, but I could never do it because I just picked it up and I just gave it up. So I just enjoyed listening to it and separated myself from the moment, because I find that the best songs and some of my favorite songs of all time are ones that I don't know how to play. I just can sit and detach myself from figuring out what they're doing and just kind of listen to it and then see,
like a little challenge.
Yeah, right. Just to, well, and also just to not even have to think about it. And we're like, oh, this is just great for what it is, and I'm not going to touch it, But this was pretty crazy because I don't remember listening to it for the first time all the way through until I lived in St. Pete at that apartment that you loved. That was the first
that
one.
I loved so much.
Yeah. One blanket, one pillow, and a light bulb that I just moved from room to room, pretty much.
It was great.
I had one bar of soap for 8 months. Yeah.
I think I might have done. Bathroom.
I think I washed my sheets one time.
That's disgusting.
Isn't it?
And one of those times was when we were dating.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it is disgusting. Wash your sheets.
Want to hear something real embarrassing about that point?
What?
what I found in your bed.
Oh, God.
Roll over. You're like crinkly.
In the bed? Yeah, I remember this. This is great.
I roll over and it's a taco from Taco Bell.
Left it in the bed.
Like in the corner of the bed under the sheets.
Yeah, I've got probably, I've been known to do that. Eat Taco Bell in my bed and then pass out and then wake up with it still there.
And we were only like...
Can't do it anymore because apparently we're not allowed to eat in the bed.
No.
No,
we weren't seeing each other for that long either when that happened.
No, it was in the beginning. I was like, look, if she's not on board with this shit, then I'm out,
It should have been a red flag. It's fine.
It should have been a get the hell out of there. It shouldn't have been a red flag. So
same thing.
Getting back to the have you seen them live? So I say them because I have always been under the impression until embarrassingly recently, that this was one man named Bon Iver. And then I heard him in an interview talk about how it's pronounced Bon Iver with another accent on it that I'm not even going to attempt.
Probably French.
I believe it is. It's something about the winter.
Makes sense.
Like a long winter or something like that, or the beautiful winter or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Beautiful winter. And I always thought, like, for the longest time that it was he. So I would always say, like, oh, he's great. And then like somebody's like, it's a group, right? And I was like, what? And they're like, don't you notice that there's more than one person that always plays?
You know when I found that out? Right now.
Really? You didn't know that? Oh, wow.
No, I always thought it was him.
Yeah, so it's not just him.
Trent would be so
he'd be pissed at you, man. Trent, sorry, man. He'd be furious. So the members of the band, there are a lot of them. But the main three, I believe, are Justin Vernon, Sean Carey, and then one other that I don't really know for sure, but I think that those two guys are the ones that are in there. But I knew about this album for a long time, and then couldn't like, it was just so far back from when I had first heard that song, where like it's probably 7 years apart from when I first heard the song to where I was like, wow, this is actually like a full piece of music that this guy like really put everything into. I mean, this was his debut. This was the debut of him because Justin Vernon was the one that wrote all of this stuff by himself. I believe that this is a solo project technically, but he considers himself to be a part of like a band.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like me. It's like what Keith and I do.
Right.
Keith is always going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't have a name on it, which he should because he does way more fucking work than I do.
Well, you did put his name on it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We did do that on Before You Dig. Check it out. Before You Dig. So
It's great.
it's great. It's only 14 minutes long, so
It's great.
at worst, it's it's short enough to not ruin your whole day. I'm sure you've had a sexual experience that's been longer than that, and a lot worse. So don't worry, or a relationship for that matter. So
in 15 minutes.
I hope so. Oh God. So, have you seen them live before? Have you ever?
You already asked me this. No.
You have not. Okay,
No.
sorry. So, if you were to see them live, what would your dream lineup of this be?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Would it be them headlining? Would it be them warming up for somebody that you really like? Like, think about those like folky, like for me, if it would be,
I know where you're going with this.
it would be them opening for like Lumineers.
I knew
Right.
you were going to say that.
Like seeing that would be like holy shit, and then
Yeah,
like
that wouldn't be bad.
like a Trevor Hall at the front end, or like a Matthew Mayfield, somebody like
Yeah.
folky and rocky that like really brings it, but still is
I
kind
would
of.
say more Matthew Mayfield over Trevor Hall in this instance. I feel like
yeah.
that wouldn't be a good blend
I agree.
of sound.
Trevor Hall's just more about like the vibe, man.
Yeah.
He's such a good vibe.
Yeah, but
Holy shit.
if you're looping in with Bon Iver and Lumineers, then it would be more so Matthew Mayfield
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I wonder if he's ever covered. He's covered so much. I wonder if
Mm-hmm.
he's ever done like a Bon Iver song or a Lumineer song. That'd be interesting to look at. So this is, I mean, it's definitely one of my bucket list concerts. I did hear from someone though that it was bad when they saw them live.
Really?
Now, okay. So this brings me to my next question.
That's
so
disappointing.
When you first heard this, when I see this, because of what was going on in music now, we kind of talked about this with the Lumineers. When that album came out, I was like, they're never going to keep this up. They're never going to keep up this consistent acoustic sound. They're going to sell out. It's going to be another, it's going to be another Killers where they just like went fully electronic, which I love the Killers and I love everything they put out. I don't have a problem with it, but it's just the fact that I knew they weren't going to be able to keep up that sound. However, they have. They've done the same exact thing in the best way possible for 3 whole albums. And then with this though, when the second album came out, when the what was it? It's Bon Iver, the title or the self-titled album. It was really almost there's a couple like horn heavy songs on there and like experimental like symphonic kind of stuff where it was like just a bunch of things going on at the same time rather than it being like seemingly like a tape recorder capturing songs that some guy wrote in a cabin by himself, which I believe is what
Pretty much
was
it
happening.
was.
And then the 22 a Million, that's Trent's favorite.
Yeah.
From Levin. Shout out Levin Brewing. And I got my shirt on too. Whoop. Mug Club, what up? So we were talking to him about that, and I remember going back and listening to that album again and remember because it has all those weird titles on it with like the symbols and the numbers and things like that, and
ones that are really easy to remember.
Yeah. He definitely memorized them all. But it's something that there was a seismic shift in like what we saw with this where it's so raw. It's like coming from a almost literal tape recorder. I think that's how it happened. I think it's from like a phone. Most of it's from like a cell phone. And then they just
Could be.
mastered it up.
I wouldn't know.
Because there's some sections on this album where the guitar is not even in tune. It's like a quarter step down of what it is, and you can hear it, but they're all playing from the same. He's playing from the same guitar, so it doesn't matter. So it all sounds like it's fine, but he's hitting different notes and stuff. But yeah, do you know like what are your thoughts on that when a band does that? When they start so far into like the raw side of it, and then they just get experimental. Do you think it's mostly like a we have some more money now, so let's see what else we can do, or do you think it's just like what the label was telling them to do, like, hey, we need you to be more like this to do better financially? What do you think?
I mean, my first thought doesn't go straight to that it's the label. one of my first thoughts is that it's their preference choice, not that they have more money now to where they can experiment with things, but more so like they're taking a shift, like a slight shift in genre, to where they want to experiment. Like they've been able to be successful with this sound. Now they want to try to see if they can be successful with a different sound. So not necessarily like a label's choice or a money choice, which sometimes it probably is. Half the time, I'm sure it is, especially with the big name,
of course,
guys. Of course, there's always going to be somebody saying that they should do something differently. But I think for like the not as bigger names, not necessarily like not good or not popular, but
just not commercial,
just the smaller names, the ones that aren't broadcasted on the radio on every single station, like 5 minutes after each other, or at the same time, then those guys might just be experimenting different sound and not necessarily because they're being told to do so.
Right.
But then again, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of what comes from small-time guys is their own heads. Whereas a big band like, like Linkin Park, when they went through that whole change, like the Killers did, like, I mean, Aerosmith had a lot of that too back then when they changed up their sound and did a bunch of ballads. I remember people hated that. My dad tells me about that all the time, about how they got, just fucking
shredded,
trashed for that. But I mean, they're obviously not bad musicians. It's just like
people get used to a sound, and when it changes, they're like, "Oh, this sounds nothing like their other stuff." And it's like, well, that's the point.
It's what
they weren't trying to make it sound like the other stuff. They were trying to make it sound new, something different.
Right. It's what was needed at the time, I'm sure, and everything.
That's what Acceptance is doing right now, and what they did with their most recent album, Colliding by Design. Like, it's a completely different sound from their like classic alternative, like
another one that comes to mind too is Houndmouth. Houndmouth did the same thing, and they got destroyed, and then they posted
because people put them in a box and they think that they can only do this one type of sound. But
and then they got rid of Katie Toppin, and then everything became
people don't like change.
They like what they know. But I remember there was a hilarious Instagram video that they put out after they had put out their new, I think it was Golden Age, like a Golden Age teaser for that song, and they were putting in text in the video all the shitty reviews that the song was getting, and they're like, "Thanks for that. You made our morning," and it's like, "Fuck you, man." Like, all of this was so bad.
I remember that,
All the fans are like, "This is the worst part of my day. Can't believe you guys sold out. Like, this is fucking garbage. I can't believe I'm listening to this." And they're like, "Thanks, guys, for the support." And made a video.
Appreciate it.
They were so pissed. But they were like celebrating it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because you can't please everyone.
Okay, so I don't fuck up. This is allegedly the current lineup right now. Justin Vernon, Sean Carey, Matthew McCoffin, I think is it? Andrew Fitzpatrick and Mike Lewis. So that's the current lineup right now, and then they have some touring members that are, brass players and violin, keyboards, stuff like that. So now, if you look at this from the front, what do you see?
Oh.
Have I told you this before?
Yes, we've talked about it.
So what do you?
So I'm cheating.
Yeah, you're cheating. So tell me what you see. Tell me what you saw before I told you this, because I'll tell you what I saw as well.
I mean, obviously I saw the trees, but then like I thought these were all just like scratches.
Okay. Yeah.
But
same. I always thought it was like a scratch or like a finger smudge.
Right.
Or like it's intentionally supposed to be out of focus. And do you want me to say it, or do you want to say it?
You can say it. It's your story. You love telling it.
I'm fascinated by this because I think it's so symbolic of what he was doing at the time. From what I understand, and the art is not ones and zeros, so if you think it's different, I don't fucking care. It's fine. You can think whatever you want. This is just the way I interpret it. So this is a window he's looking out of, and the frost is coming in and blocking his view of outside. And he's writing these songs in the cabin, and the only thing that's keeping him warm are these songs. So he's shielding himself from dying outside. Because I think he's from somewhere where it's really fucking cold. I think he's from like Minnesota or Wisconsin or something like that, where it gets
cold.
like ungodly cold outside. So
Not Florida.
no, not here. Jesus, not here.
It's the coldest day it's been all year.
Yeah. Whilst living in Raleigh. Oh no, I guess. Yeah, he fell ill with mono. Grew frustrated with his songwriting and life. Left Raleigh, drove up to his father's remote hunting cabin an hour northwest of his hometown, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Hoping to be alone. So yeah, that's what I always see. So he
All
wrote
because
this.
he got mono.
Yeah, fucking mono. Probably some bitch that was kissing other people, you know?
Don't drink out of public water fountains.
That's right. And don't kiss hoes, you know?
And don't drink out of public water fountains.
Keep your mouth to yourself, especially now. This podcast is brought to you by COVID-19. No, I'm just kidding. Keep your mouth away from people. So Vernon abandoned his old songwriting methods and focused on wordless melodies that he later set to words, which he felt evoked more of a subconscious meaning. The record's lyrical subjects include lost love and mediocrity, of course, yeah. I love his falsetto, too. A lot of people can't stand it.
Yeah.
I know when people listen to my mom, not this artist in particular, but my mom is always about like it's too slow. You know, she's always like she likes the fast, like upbeat, like peppy stuff. She's good. She's in for a ballad every once in a while, but like this album from top to bottom is like a perpetual, like slow, chill, somber vibe of like being alone. So
oftentimes what people classify as elevator music.
Yeah, right. It's jazz. Yeah. I have heard this in an elevator before though. I've heard a song, maybe not in an elevator, but like in like a mall or something.
Probably.
Something. But it wasn't like a hit, it was like a deep cut. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's weird. Sometimes you catch songs that you love like in the mall, you're like, really?
Yeah.
So crazy. Like I hear a lot of Dave Matthews in Publix all the time. It's like, great.
I hear it all the time. All the time.
I hate it because I'm such a big fan. I'm like, man, I was like, I
and-
can't even jam to this. You know, it's like
Yeah.
quiet. You
Yeah.
know, I just want to be alone when I'm listening to it. So
Some soft Dave.
yeah, right.
No such thing.
So yeah, no. So your favorite track off of this? Do you remember? Mm-hmm. What's it called?
Blindside.
Blindside. Yeah. She's really bad with names.
Yeah.
So we went over this before. She's like, I forget what it was.
I'm really good at knowing all the tracks and all the words and all the
right.
melodies.
If it comes on the sound bar or whatever, wherever we're listening, she's like, oh, I know this one. I was like, what's it called? Nothing.
I got nothing.
Blank. Like Mike Tyson at a spelling bee.
It's because there's so much going on up here already.
Yeah, right.
And like I have to remember so
It's
many things already
overworked.
that to
See,
do that.
I
is
only remember
unnecessary.
things like that, and then the important shit is out the fucking window. It doesn't register with me.
Yeah.
But the fun thing about this is that I mean, just doing a deeper dive into this, like I did back in 2018 when I really got to a chance to just be with my own thoughts and listen to this and take it in for what it was, and not have any distraction. Because a lot of the times, like when I'm listening to music, I'm like playing games on my phone or like posting or driving or like thinking about other shit. I remember just sitting on the couch and going, I'm going to take this in from start to finish. And then when it's done, I'm going to stop and I'm going to listen to it again, but in the background and see if there's anything else. But I wanted to take it in 100%
Right.
the first time.
Right.
So Blindsided is definitely one that's on there for me. I mean, there's so many great tracks on here. I mean, The Wolves
Yeah.
is just such a chaotic, it's beautiful chaos.
Yeah.
Because you think that shit is hitting the fan and it's just a bunch of
I mean, it sounds like
percussive
shit's
chaos.
hitting the
Yeah, it just sounds
Well,
like
I
a
remember when I first listened to it on
vinyl.
the vinyl on the sound bar, I thought something was going wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I thought something was breaking.
This is very-
Yeah. And like Dixie was freaking out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
Because it's all those cymbals and like crashing and like
But yeah,
banging at the end.
at
Like,
the end,
it sounds like
it's just
gunfire and like
It
boots.
sounds like fireworks.
Yeah,
and-
it's just crazy shit. So I just remember that being one. Stax
Yeah.
is such a sweet melody. Blindsided. Flume. I mean, Flume is just such a great way to open an album like this.
Right.
There's albums like this. The track listing is so important because you don't like if they started with like stacks on this.
Yeah.
It would be like,
Yeah.
a lot of people would like just lose it. But Flume was so perfect because it captured in one stanza what the entire album was going to be like. And I remember going like, I'm going to fucking dig this because I had only heard one of the songs.
So many people have ruined that song though. Like
I
it's
know.
bad.
I know. Well, the thing is
that
like,
and like Skinny Love are the first two songs people think of when they hear Bon Iver, and they've just trashed it.
It's rough. I
there's some good ones, but for the most part,
I am on the fence about covering him all the time. I have to be in like a really good vocal spot to do it because it's
high.
not quite a head voice, but it's also not quite a chest voice.
Yeah.
So I'm like going in between, and I'm like, this is not what he would want.
No.
If he was in the crowd, he'd be like, this kid is murdering my song, and not in a good way. Yeah. So, have you heard his track with Eminem before? Have I played you?
Yes.
That? Okay. Yeah. I think it's Face or whatever from the Kamikaze.
Yeah.
Kamikaze that Eminem did with where he just took a giant shit on everybody.
Yep.
That was the first time I saw his name by itself, where I was like, "This sounds
Who is
like
it? Yeah.
And I remember when it came because that was right around the time I found out. I was like, "Oh, that's not his name."
Yeah.
I feel like such an idiot saying that, but it's like, I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
here to be
yeah.
like, I definitely knew. I knew it all. Like, shut the fuck up.
course.
Yeah, of course you did. I remember hearing that and like playing it for Jack, and then I was like, this is
know.
the guy that stole that award
I was
from
in the
your
car
boy.
when you played it.
Yeah, that's right.
Jack.
That's right. So I remember when this also came out. I remember listening to Skinny Love and just crying my eyes out. When
Honestly, if you haven't cried to Skinny Love, it's just like
I mean, God, I remember being in the car and I was like, I was in a relationship at the time. Not with you. Spoiler alert. I was in a relationship at the time, so it didn't really register with me. But then I listened to it again, and then when he hits that final chorus, when he says, well, all your love was wasted, well, then who the hell was I? I was like, oh my fucking God. I'm like, this is what I've wanted to say to you, you know? This is what I've wanted to just scream at the top of my lungs, and like this was his album where he just like, fuck you, man.
Right.
Like this is you hear people running around town going like, I mean, it was never really anything, stuff like that, where you're like, oh, really? It's like, I seem to remember different conversations, but yeah.
That's what I tell people all the time.
God, if you do that, I swear. Do you have like maybe it's not off this album, but do you have a breakup song that like registered differently with you, like after you were in a relationship like that? I know you're an emo. You're an emo girl, so
I'm not emo, but that one
you were
for sure. It's funny because like I would listen to that song a million times.
Same.
Million times. And I think like I was with Molly and Jenna and maybe like one of our other friends or whatever, and we were at I don't even remember the name of the place. We were at some restaurant and it came on the radio, and I was all in my feels being super dramatic, but it was post breakup, like a couple days, not even like a week. And I'm like in my feels and I start like crying in my food, and I'm just like, don't look at me. But
don't look at me. I'm sad.
All dramatic.
But also look at me.
But don't. Because I don't like attention.
Yeah.
But no, and then like I looked back and I was like, that was so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had moments like that too where like I just got hit with like a crying jag. Yeah. And music is never. I listen to sad fucking music.
The thing is, I listen to sad music that sounds happy.
Right.
Which is like there's in Amberlin.
Yes.
Like this was, oh my God, this was like high school maybe. Like, and I just gotten out of an on-off relationship, whatever, where it was just like
those are the best ones.
Shit show.
Yeah.
Like
those are the most fun.
Big waste of
time. Do I love you? Do I not love you? Who fucking knows? We'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
But thank God it's over.
Yeah. Maybe not. Who knows?
No.
We'll see. You know, we're
No,
on
but
again, off again.
It was just a song that I, again, just like Singing Love, like listened to all the time. Never thought anything of it. Sing and jam to it all the time in the car.
Yeah.
And then like I would be venting to Crystal all the time about it because she knew a lot about their relationship and stuff at the time. And I feel like I had butted this thing like 10 times. But
That's better. It's better you're close.
you'll
than
just
far
hear
away. Yeah. We'll add in the sound in post.
But no, so she sent it to me one time. She was just like, listen to this song again and like really listen to it. It was Naive Orleans.
Oh yeah, dude.
So such an upbeat, quick
Yeah.
song like you wouldn't think of. But when
You're
you,
like,
when you listen to it,
found that
yeah.
life goes on without. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
But then you're also just like,
It's like such
Yeah.
right. It's a fuck you song, but it's like it can change on a dime. You know, like that's the beauty.
Right.
That's the beautiful thing about music and about art is that like it's all depending on what mood it captures you in.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a certain vulnerable position, you're open to more interpretations. And that's why I like to write like that, kind of open ended for people to make their own assumptions about what I'm
Assumptions for what
doing
it
because it's
is.
not a 1 and 0. You know,
Right.
there's certain songs that I'll never talk about because they're just too personal to me. But if it resonates with you in a certain light,
make
great.
your own meaning.
You can make it your own. I think it was Jacob Dylan one time when they were asking him about One Headlight, The Wallflowers, and he was saying, he's like, I really don't give a shit what people think this song is about. He's like, if the snare drum moves you, then you know, let it move you. Let that be the thing that moves you. He's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like it's just that it does move you. You know, and I feel like that's where I get pretentious and shit. I'm like, you don't even like you don't listen to the lyrics. You know, like do you know what this is about? Like I fucking love wedding songs for this reason.
Yeah.
I love it so much when I see a couple like dancing to the Police.
Uh-huh.
Every Breath You Take.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's about a guy just like creeping on some chick, you know, or a good riddance, Time of Your Life by Green Day was the biggest wedding song for years, years, and it's the biggest fuck you in maybe all of their music. It's like, you know, hope you have the time of your life, bitch. Go fuck yourself. Like that's what it was.
People don't pay
and they're like,
attention.
I can't believe this is our song. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're screwed now.
I've been to my fair share of weddings where like I've seen some very questionable first dance songs where I'm like, are you even reading this? Like,
No.
Isn't that what it's about though? Like in that moment for a first dance,
You'd
I think there's gotta be some moments where like music should be a 1 and 0 and a wedding that's gonna last forever in most people's minds. For some people, that might be their only memory of you. They might be going as a +1 and be like, "Can you fucking believe the song that they did?" Like that's insane.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That to me is just it's so wild. Do you remember like is there a wedding first dance song that you were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Nope.
No, you know, but you just can't say it. Yeah, you can. Well, tell me after this is over. Yeah, I have some too that I can't really say because I don't know where this is gonna go. But if you're thinking, hey, maybe it's me he's talking about, yeah, it's fucking you. And figure it out next time. And for your next wedding, pick a different song. That's happy.
For your next wedding.
Yeah. So, no, I'm just playing. I hope everybody stays together forever. It's definitely going to happen 100% of the time.
Awake.
The divorce rates are at an all-time low. Oh, she's out. So, puppy's out.
Face
So,
first into the sofa.
I forget what I was talking about with this, but like the interpretation of the lyrics.
Yes, lyrics.
Did you are you a lyrics first person or are you a music first person?
Music first.
You're a music first? See, I think that
At least halfway into the song, and then I switched to lyrics.
I think so. I think I'm the same way where like the music initially is what grabs me, but like
Right.
I'll forgive a poor start, not poor, just slow
Rough
and maybe
start.
different. I'll forgive a different start, that one that doesn't agree with me, for a good
I'm also
for good
all
lyrical
about build
content.
up
Yeah.
and a good gospel choir.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
God,
who's not? I
I think I'm wiggling in my jeans over here.
please don't.
So- Not for the people in the choir, just for the choir itself.
Right. Uh-huh.
Everybody's of age in the choir, so
Jesus.
don't freak out. Well, you gotta say it. You know.
They
you don't know.
usually are.
not the choirs that I grew up around. I was in choir in church. I was a kid. They told me. That's where I started playing music.
I know.
I was in church. It was great. And then I got out. I was like, I want to play songs that I like.
Right.
You know, but our neighbor he's in a church band. Never heard him play.
The one that's like two
this
or
way.
3 houses down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like in the moments when you're listening to a song for the first time, something takes me out of it for just a second to understand what they're talking about, and then once I do, it changes the entire landscape of how I'm perceiving the song. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, if I were to check out mentally, like, I wanted to... This episode is being taped a few days after Chris Stapleton's album came out, Starting Over. It'll be a while before this comes out, but I laid down on the soundbar, and I was like,
on top of the soundbar.
Not on it, but right underneath it. So all this sound was going over my head, and I was able to, like, kind of take it in. And I was just floored by, like, everything because I was letting everything soak it in. But if I were, like, to hear it at, like, a party and in passing and we were talking over it,
wouldn't have the same
everything
effect.
changes. That's why I feel like there's a difference between music that's meant to be consumed when you're alone, sitting somewhere, and, like, not on a phone speaker. You're like, hey, check out my friend, hey, you know, like, shit like that. There's music
it's
that's
an event.
There's music that's supposed to be consumed as a kind of background kind of thing, which is, you know, what a lot of local music is becoming. There's a lot of background stuff, which is why the people that are great stand out so high above everybody else, because they just do shit not only differently but way fucking better. Way better. So there's music that can be consumed in, like, a background setting, and then there's music that I love that needs to be it needs to have your full attention to mean what it means. Not saying that all music is that most music is background stuff, but there's certain stuff that undoubtedly is better when your full head is into it, rather than you're just like, oh, who's this? Oh, cool, and then, like, you keep kind of moving along, you know. That's why I love in the car. Like, when I go on, like, drives on long gigs in the car, I'll just turn on an album from top to bottom and just listen and not skip any tracks and just, like, take everything in and be like, interesting, you know. But if I'm just kind of, like, you know, trying to get through the drive and want to sing along and warm up my pipes or whatever, I'll listen to something I've heard before 100 times, and I'll just listen into it in, like, a passing kind of way where I'm like, oh, I get to that good part, and then, like, boom, skip it.
Right.
You know, some people think that's sacrilegious, but, like, I just have such a short attention span, and, like, sometimes I don't know what I want until I hear it, and then when it's on and it's over, I'm like, I want something else now. You know, which is why I'm a hypocrite for getting mad at people that are like, are you kidding me? You didn't even make it through half the fucking song, because it, like, gives you a breakdown of, like, when people check out of your music, and it's like we're not even counting. I just got bossed in there for a second. Sorry. I said your music. Motherfucker. Okay, so it'll say, like, you know, they made it through a certain percentage of the song to count it as a play, but other people will start it and bail before it gets to that point. It's like, are you fucking serious? Like,
you got to be quicker than that.
I know, for real. You got to be way quicker than that. Jeez, man.
Yeah. Well.
So, if you were to put these guys in a lineup,
oh boy,
live, like we talked about earlier, you never gave me an answer.
I did.
Who'd you say?
I slightly agreed with you because I was on the same track.
Okay.
I said your lineup before you said it.
Okay.
So
that's true. So we did agree on that?
Yeah. So I would put them with Lumineers.
Okay.
And like I said, probably someone along the lines of
indie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More like Matthew Mayfield.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Maybe Nathaniel Ratliff as a solo.
Oh, dude. That I didn't even think about. Oh, he's so sweet.
Not in the Night Sweats. Just himself.
Just him. Which they're both great.
Both great.
But
the Night Sweats bring a total different vibe.
It's funky, man.
Total different vibe.
It's funky. It's a vibe.
To what this would be.
So that's funny that you bring that up, because it kind of blends into exactly what we're talking about with the whole lyrical meaning. There are people that hate Nathaniel Rateliff's solo stuff. And they're like, I don't want to pay. I literally saw a comment on Facebook, not figuratively, literally saw it with my own eyes. I saw this comment of some, middle-aged white dude who's fucking mad about everything on Facebook,
Right.
Because I like to see the response to people sometimes, which is a bad idea. Don't read comments. Don't read it because then it knocks your IQ down, People are all fucking stupid on social media. Everybody.
Raises your blood pressure.
Everybody. Even you. It does. So everybody is. And this guy goes, I'd really love to go see a play, but I don't want to buy a ticket and just be sad the whole time. Like, okay, the horns are a distraction from what he's actually singing about. Son of a bitch, give me a drink is about him drowning himself in booze and almost fucking dying.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, it's like, son of a bitch. It's like happy. It's like, no, dude,
No.
You're missing this.
Right.
You're missing this. He's telling you he's killing himself.
Right.
And 17 years, I've been throwing them back. 17 more, they'll bury me.
Yeah, it's
But
all like the.
Can somebody please come tie me down? Oh, somebody give me a goddamn drink.
Cries for help.
Yes,
and,
exactly. And then he's like, just because it's stripped down, you take it in like that. But the lyrical content is the same thing.
Yeah.
He's talking about the same stuff, but it's never about like, I love you so much, you're the best thing for me. It's always like, I'm sorry, I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It's like it's all about that, and like he's struggled with addiction and talks about it in his songs, and it's super brave to open up about stuff like that because it's so difficult to sell that because you're letting people in that shouldn't be let in.
Right.
You're letting people into your life and letting people hear about you, which is why music is such a risky venture. It's not like stand-up comedy where like you kind of just throw a little twist on it and be like, hey, tell a story, and then it's just funny at the end of the night. You'd be like, oh man, that's crazy. This is like you're legitimately opening up about your entire life, and like some people are like, "What the fuck?" Like it's like, and you don't have that comic relief to where you just kind of have to sit in it, and then this information about someone that you've never met. Mm-hmm. So that's why they have all these weird fan interactions with people when they see them and they bring up stuff that they don't fucking know about, and it's like, dude, what? You read about me on Wikipedia and you want to bring this to me right now? Just,
at this moment?
Just take a picture and get the fuck out of here, kid. What are we doing? That's why, like, whenever I hear people say, God, I met that guy. He was such an asshole. I was like, dude.
In that moment,
you don't even want to talk to me for 15 minutes. Can you imagine this fucking guy? He has to meet all these people.
Constantly being bombarded.
Constantly. Like, can't go anywhere, can't do anything. I mean, can't, some musicians can kind of hide because a lot of it is just audio.
Right.
A lot of people don't know what their favorite bands look like.
Right.
A lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people on the radio, like I love listening to stuff on the radio. The good stuff.
Right.
But if I ran into somebody from like Dirty
You
Honey
wouldn't know.
or like Rival Sons, or if I ran into somebody from like, I don't know, 21 Pilots,
Right.
no fucking clue.
Right.
I would have no idea. If he told me, I'd be like, oh, dope. Somebody could tell me that, and I'd be like, yes, absolutely,
That's who
you're
that
that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, a lot of people are like, oh, I know exactly what they look. I'm like, yeah, of course. There are people like in the Dave Matthews Band that I would do a double take on because you're separating yourself from that moment. It's like athletes too.
Right.
When athletes aren't wearing the jerseys, no one would know.
Right. They look like average Joes.
90%, well, not average Joes, but you wouldn't be able to pinpoint them without their last name on the back.
Right.
Like soccer players or like little white dudes in basketball. But yeah, it's just so odd when people do it and they're like, yeah, he's such a dick. What a dick. I met him. He was like, okay, man, you're judging this guy on a 5-second basis. Imagine if someone did that to you at your worst moment, or like a day where you're like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to do this.
It happens
gig.
all the time.
Every day. Yeah. Like can you just imagine that? Happens to me all the time. Remember that guy that one of the guys when I was playing in a band, and he kept bugging me about running the soundboard. He was like, hey man, let me get back there and let me mix some stuff. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, what? No, don't touch my shit. And the guitar player, didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Of course.
Not Keith. This is not Keith.
Yes.
I want to make that clear. This is another person that I worked with in the past, but like it's just, there's a difference between working with nice guys that, like Keith, that can get serious when it needs to be serious when they're going to fucking derail the whole show. And then there's a difference of that and like a guy that's just going to be like, I don't know what to do in this. I'm
Right.
going to freeze.
Like a pushover.
Yeah. So he started talking to this guy and totally turned him against me because he's nice to the one dude who's giving me a fucking hard time. And then I remember my dad was outside because he was at the show that night, and the guy's walking out and he's saying to his wife, he's like, man, that guitar player is awesome, but that singer's a fucking dick. It's like, yeah, don't bother me when I'm working. Mm-hmm. Don't bother me when I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So it's just a wild thing. Mm-hmm. Just to capture this, but okay. So I got one more question for you.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap this up because we're about at an hour. We're like 45 minutes in. So
and it's my bedtime.
It's too long. Yeah. So I'm calling this podcast the Scratch Track because what a scratch track is, for those of you outside of the music world and in the music vocabulary, I had to look up the exact definition for this, but basically what it is something that's used for like timing and phrasing, and something that is not necessarily good audio, mm-hmm. but something that you kind of use to base a track off of, just so you can mm-hmm. kind of navigate your way around the song without having it fully done. So scratch track can be something that you just build from the start and then throw away initially, mm-hmm. or it could be something that ends up being great. So let me ask you this.
Oh boy. I'm nervous.
Is there a time in your life where you wish you could have had a scratch track? To be like, man, I wish I could have warmed this up a little bit, saw what was going to happen, and then just immediately threw it in the garbage.
All the time.
Because sometimes we don't get this. Most of the time we don't get this in life. It's just go, and you don't get a gauge of where it's going to be. You don't get to throw it in there for timing and figuring out, the bones and the structure of everything. Mm-hmm. You're just going. So is there a specific time?
There's been many specific times.
Okay.
Obviously, like with relationships, but people
mm-hmm.
always say, don't regret the relationships that you've had. You learn lessons, blah, blah,
that
blah,
is
blah, blah.
horseshit. You can absolutely regret stupid shit.
Yeah. So there's plenty of those, like, if not almost all of those.
Yeah.
So scratch that. And then I think the one that like first came to mind, which is funny, is college.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah, that's a big one.
Not that college was a bad experience for me or that like I did stupid shit in college. It's that
you just needed a test.
I probably didn't do enough stupid shit in college. Like I was so focused on
Interesting.
I was so focused on graduating as quickly as I could.
I thought you were going to go the other way.
No,
okay.
It was the opposite. I was almost too serious with school where I didn't enjoy my time in college as much as I think I could have. I was so quick to let me like course load as many as I can.
Because you got done.
Yeah.
Did you get done early?
Because I transferred, I ended up like right on time, like the schedule. But
Yeah,
because I did like HCC for a freaking semester, and that was a shit show.
Yeah,
like don't recommend.
Yeah,
especially if you're not serious about college.
Yeah,
like if you don't care and you're just going because you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
fine. But me, I was like, this is my plan. I need everything. I had my whole like college career planned out from the day I graduated high school. I was like, all right, here's my plan. Here's the classes I'm going to take each semester. I'm ready to go. This is the plan. And if something didn't go as planned, cue meltdown. So
yeah, I'm the same way,
very type
man.
A, like very type A, like borderline OCD. Like things have to go a certain way, and if they don't, I might not show that I'm freaking out, but mentally I'm like having a meltdown in my head, or I'm like super stressed.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I was very adamant about I want to try to graduate as young as I can so I can start working and building as early as I can.
So you wish your scratch track was to relax more. So your initial track.
It's like a job interview. It's like, what
Yeah.
are your biggest weaknesses?
Yeah, tell
I
me.
work too hard.
Yeah, I'm too smart. I'm too kind.
Yeah.
Jesus
But no, it
Christ,
really was.
those
It was
fucking idiots.
It was, how can I go through this as fast as possible to
Get the hell out of
start
here.
building and having a career as quickly as possible?
Well, you're not wrong for doing that, but I get.
Well, no.
I get
but
it.
also, I feel like it would have been more like, do I completely regret it? No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do I wish I would have made more time for other things? Absolutely.
Oh, shit,
because
yeah.
if
Of
I
course.
wasn't in class,
Of course.
I was working my part-time job.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we're a good balance. Whereas you had your whole entire plan in college and had it down to a T. I had fun for the both of us. I was done with college early. They asked me to leave. They said,
get out.
please don't come back here. You're an embarrassment. We don't want our name attached to you for the rest of your life. And yeah, I left and came home, worked a 40-hour-a-week job, 45, 50-hour-a-week job, and was, working on the weekends and stuff, picking up overtime. And, like, I had no music in my life at that time because I had moved from being a fucking drunken degenerate in college, like playing these smoky, stupid bars that like weren't getting anywhere. Not saying that the bars were stupid themselves, but like the
Right.
fact that I was doing that and putting that above everything to where I was like, I was getting fucked in the ass on price so bad that I remember telling somebody about it
Yeah.
excitedly. I was like, dude, you're not going to believe how much these guys are paying me. This is
Right.
crazy. And they're like, how much are they paying you? I was like, no, it's good, right? And they're like, no, dude, you're getting fucked.
Yeah.
They are taking you for a fucking ride.
Yeah.
You're done. Like, you need to get out of there now. And my mom would be like, how much are you making there? And I'm like, I don't want to say. I
Right.
was like, I don't want to tell you.
I'd rather
that.
not.
I was like, if I just told this guy, you're going to fucking hate this. But now, that's my specific scratch track. Knowing how much money you could make. Because I made... So this is all out. This is all public. I've said this so many times. So you can look this up.
Right.
And this does not go against the management of this place. This is just probably what they could afford, and this is what I was worth at that time. I wasn't good. I was just an average fucking kid playing with a shit guitar. I had a decent voice at the time, but I hadn't grown into it like I have now. This guy was like, "Hey, we're running an open mic on Tuesday nights. I'd love for you to be the host," because I kept coming, and he didn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, oh, yeah, man, I'd love to. And I was like, what are the deets, man? What do I need to do? I'll do everything. He's like, well, we have a house system here, so I'll just teach you how to run the board, which I had no idea how to do because I never ran a board. And this thing was a fucking spaceship.
Yeah.
It was like 50 channels wide. It looked like it was running the American Airlines arena. It was huge. And I say that just because of the geographical closeness to the Heat, not because the Heat are above it to me. So just getting that out of the way. Anyway. So he teaches me how to run the board, and he's like, okay, just come here, like, get here 8:30, figure out everything, get the monitors on, get the system rolling, get everything warmed up before so we can have a chance to wake up a little bit. This is how you turn the outside speakers on and everything. He's like, all right, 8:30, and then we shut down at 2. So the last call for you for the open mic will be 1:30. How many times do you think it went to 2 o'clock? Every fucking night.
God.
Every goddamn time we did it, it went till 2 o'clock and then some. Because we were trying to fit people in. I wanted to play with people. This was the time where like I wanted everybody to come up because it's an open mic. That's what you do. But it was an absolute disaster for such a long period of time. Now, granted, there were people that came in there that were hilarious. We did like a comedy open mic too. Some of the guys are... One guy that performed down there, Trey Maddox, he has a special on Amazon.
Yeah.
Hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Has a fucking hysterical joke about the all of the cars that your ex drives or whatever. Like if you break up with a girl or whatever, like, man, fuck Hondas. You just get so specific in your hate. And then the whole, washing my car or whatever while I'm smoking weed, like, and he hears the car alarm going off. I'm like, yeah, I hope it's not my car, like shit like that. He just had little throwaway stuff that was just so fucking funny. And I caught a ton of great comedians, ton of great artists that were coming in and out of there. I mean, like there were guys that would come over there, that were just amazing. But so he says 8:30 to 1:30, and it always went over.
Right.
And he paid me $40. $40.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane.
Yay.
The guy that was telling me that, like, he was like, that's not good. He was like, let me show you what minimum wage is, and let me show you what you're making. And then also, let me also raise you that musicians make more per hour than I do at my job.
Right.
So I was like, I didn't know that. No one told me. No one told me how much money you can ask for. No one told me how much money you can make. If I hear that offer now, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
When it's like a simple thing of, this is a price point. This is what we need to get to have me out there. Like I deal with it with weddings all the time. Weddings is inconsistent because it just depends on what they ask for. Mm-hmm. If you're asking for like a song for me to play while you walk down the aisle, like, and I know you, I'm not gonna fucking charge you.
Right.
Like if you want to tip me, great. I don't care. But like, I'm not gonna like when Pam and Gary got married, I was like, I'm not asking for anything.
Right.
I'm not at all. I'm just like I'm playing a little bit for you guys to come hang out. It's nothing. It's nothing. No skin off my back. It's nothing. But it's doing that and dealing with the people that I had to deal with and the job that was going on. Mm-hmm. And I did get a $20 tab, and I drank it every night.
Well, of course,
because it was $2 well night and $5.99 burgers. Mm-hmm. Never ate a burger. I did, but I asked that to be separate.
Right.
So I was like, I want to eat, but I want my drinks to be covered.
Right. So
I would just try to have less than 10, and they'd be like, "You're good." Yeah. What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare.
Yikes.
So, yeah.
We'll scratch that.
Scratch that for sure. But the point is, guys, is that there's no mistakes in life. Everything leads you to exactly where you want to be. Like, whatever the fuck, just virtue signaling bullshit. Yeah. I agree. Everything does lead you to what you do, but I just hate people that say that. Yeah. Because it's like, dude, how many more times do I have to hear this shit before I'm in the right spot?
It's like I already know.
Everybody, you only hear that when you're in a shitty situation.
Yeah.
Or I did. Like, everything happens for a reason. Like, please stop. Mm-hmm. Please stop that. It's not helping. No. It's like salt in the wound, man. Like, oh, God. If it does happen for a reason, like, what is it?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
Any last words? You have anything else you want to say?
Good night.
Good night. You're going to bed? All right, well, cheers, guys.